Hi guys, today we're going to be answering the question, what is it like to work at Walmart? I've worked for Walmart twice in my life. Once when it was like just out of high school, it was my first job. Well, not my first job, it was my first job out of high school, I guess. Um, I was I think a sophomore in college. I took a year off right after high school. So like my second year of college, I started working and it was in Walmart, and that was like in 2009. So I'm not gonna use that example of my experience of like how it worked. I worked there for like maybe a year and a half, but things are so different from then until like and how it is now. I mean, it's like a decade ago. So I'm a little older than I look, by the way. Uh, but I did end up going back, not because I was particularly excited to do so. I just knew it would be easy for me to get a job there because I worked there already in a different locate. Like, Walmart's real good normally about hiring people who've worked at Walmart before and left on good terms. They're pretty good about that. I mean, it makes sense. It's like it's less training. It's as easy. So even though it was like maybe almost what 7 years or something like that since I had worked there before, I was still good. Like whenever I applied, I immediately called and asked if they had any spots open, and I was like, I'm open for anything. Open availability. That's your key. That is your foot in the door. If you're gonna apply for Walmart, put open availability. But the thing about that is they're gonna hold you to it, and this is gonna be very important later on in my experience. But whatever availability that you put on that application, be prepared to like really stick to it, because a lot of times you may see like a part-time job or something like that, or like you're not really like wanting to work, like say just be open and flexible like that. Like say if you just really want a job or really need a job and you're like, but I really don't want to work the weekends, I'm gonna put like I'm available on the weekends, but just kind of like tell them I'm not gonna work weekends when I get there. Like if you're gonna do that, that's not gonna fly at Walmart. It's probably not gonna fly. But anyway, so I have the interview, and immediately after that they set me up for I think it was a drug test and a background check. Or no, I think they said the drug test was the first time I got hired back in 2010 yeah, 2010. So like this time in like 2018 was when I actually like went back. So it was right before everything kind of shut down like a couple years, but I think they stopped doing the drug test and it's only a background check. So what they did was they'll tell you like, well, we can call you back for orientation whenever your background check comes in clear and everything. It normally takes like a week. They'll tell you that it takes like a week. So I actually got a job at a restaurant across the street because I'm normally a server. Most of my job experience came from working in restaurants as like a bartender, server, that kind of thing, all kinds of restaurants. So I ended up going to try to get hired at the restaurant across the street. It was a Landry's. It was like a seafood restaurant, and it's very expensive. So I knew I'd make some money while I waited to get on the floor at Walmart, and I just have like two streams of income, two jobs that right across the street from each other. Now it was I planned it to be like super easy and maximize my income. So tell me why I end up getting hired at the seafood restaurant, trained, like on the schedule, working. It was January when I applied for Walmart. By the time I'm like calling like every week, by the way, asking them for the about the background check and what was the status of that, so I can come to orientation. And they always say, we haven't gotten it back yet. We haven't gotten it back yet. We haven't gotten it back yet. It was like March. It was late February when I got hired. It was like the beginning of March before I was like, you know what? What if I just look up the number to the company that Walmart uses for their background checks and see what the heck is going on? Because this is crazy. Like I've been here for a whole month. Like I'm not even new anymore. So I ended up calling, like I looked it up and I looked up what the company was, called that number, found their customer service, whatever. And I was like, hey, I told them my name. I'm trying to get hired. They said they've been waiting on this background check. I'm checking the status of it. And when I tell you, the lady on the phone was like, what's your name? She's typing in my information and she's like, oh, it's ready. I'll just send it in. I don't know what happened, but here it is. So I'm like thinking in my head, like, that's not my job. We have HR people sitting in an office, supposedly, and all they had to do was pick up the phone and call the company and just ask about it, just say my name. That's it. And they would have pushed it through. I could have been you know, pushed through like months ago. So I was already pissed about that. But I was like, you know what? Fine. Like, fine. And so I call Walmart. I'm like, hey, so I just got my own background check pushed through. So when do you want me to come in for orientation? And they're like, oh, okay. Well, come in like the next week or something like that. I'm like, fine. So I come in and I do this orientation. And now when you go to orientation, that's going to be like it's not going to be that long. It's a couple of hours or whatever. Now the training, when you come back for training, that's going to like be brutal. Training is brutal at Walmart. I hated it. Both times I did it. They have these things called computer-based learning, CBLs, where you like basically do these like modules for like 8 hours a day for like the first like 2 weeks. It's like it takes so long to do them, and it's so monotonous, and it's like you'll want to like hit your head against the wall by the like before it's all said and done. But what ends up happening is that you do it at your own, like there's no real time limit as to like how much you need to have done per day. So it's like you'll start seeing some people like leave early, like leave and go on the floor in their departments sooner than others, depending on what you do. So like if you're a cashier, you're gonna have like your own special training about like certain things, like how to like you're gonna have like your alcohol tests, like to make sure that you know how to check people's IDs and stuff like that. And then you'll also have different like say if you work for other departments, you'll have your own little thing. So it's like some of them will end earlier than others, but I always have the cashier training because the first time I worked there, I was in electronics. And then the second time around, I'm actually got hired for the self-checkout. Self-checkout, you will have to know how to actually be a cashier, and you have to learn the self-checkout duties as well. So I was in there forever. I felt like I was in there forever. But they pay a little bit more. So basically, I was in there for like maybe 2 weeks before I finally got like done with training, and I get on the floor. Now this is where the problem came in for me. The job itself, a day in the job itself is nothing. I mean, it's like it's whatever you think it would be like to work at Walmart. It's really going to heavily depend on your managers and what crazy expectations they may be setting at any given time, that they're just going to probably like flip on its head, or it's like they're never consistent. They will tell you one thing and then they'll tell you something else like the next day, and then swear like you're the one who's not listening or something. And this was the worst experience I've ever had, because like I'm on the floor for like maybe a week or so. Everything's going great. It's cool. I like the job. It's fine. Right? I really actually enjoyed it. Like I liked helping the older people, like using machines. You're gonna get that all the time. The old people are gonna come in and be like, I do not want to use that machine. I want to be rang up. It's like, well, no, I can show you how to ring it up, or like I can help you, but I'm not gonna ring up your stuff. Like I refused, because that's not our job, and that's how you're gonna be trained, not to ring up their stuff just because they're whining. You're gonna like help them get accustomed to the machine, or they can always just go to a lane. You can go to a lane where they will ring you up with a smile on their face. Okay, let's be real. Not with a smile on their face. They're probably not gonna be smiling, but they will ring you up. But remember when I told you I had that job already at the seafood restaurant? Well, I have an availability now. I don't have an open availability. So when I see the schedule at Walmart and they just have me just all over the place, like Saturday night, Friday night, I'm like, I work at a restaurant across the street. These are the time I can't do that. So I go to the person who hired me, who is also the person who hires you or interviews you is normally going to be your direct manager, by the way. Normally. So I go up to this woman and I'm like, hey, so my schedule's all messed up. I cannot work this because I have a job. I have another job. Like I can't do this. She's like, well, what do you mean you got another, like your availability? You cannot change your availability for like the first I think it's like the first month or something like that of working, yada yada yada, like what you put on your application is what it is. I was like, I applied in January, I got hired in March. I applied for 2 places on the same day and got hired. Like it took y'all 3 months to get me in here because y'all did not call to get my background check. And so I was like, surely they'll just fix this. And so I'm like, I explained this to her because I'm like, well, she doesn't know everything. So I explained it to her and she's like, okay, sure. Like, and she just walks away and I'm like, okay, fine. It'll be fixed. So I leave, come back. It's not fixed. So I'm like, all right, I'm getting anxious now at this point. I'm like, I go to my manager. I'm like, hey, are you going to fix the schedule? Because it's not fixed. I don't have an open availability because I had to have a job while I waited for y'all to do your job to call and get my background check sent back. Of course, I didn't say it like that. I was trying to be real respectful, real polite. I'm like, I know, and it was a mess because I don't know. I don't think it was anybody's fault. I think it was just like something with that company. Like I had to call and get it pushed through. Like I should have been hired like a month or two ago. And she still pretended like she understood and nodded and would agree with me and then not do anything. So I was like, well, maybe they just know what's going on. I'm just not gonna, like, when I don't show up on Friday night because I'll be across the street, then they'll know why. So like that's probably cool. So I even call. I'm like, hey guys, y'all know I'm not gonna be here today because I'm going to be at my other job, right? We didn't know that. What do you mean you didn't know that? You're gonna have to call out. I'm like, okay, well, I'm calling out. Like, and by the way, when you call out, you have to call a 1-800 number to call out. That's separate from the store. It's its own like 1-800 number that keeps record of like call outs and being late and stuff. It's really weird. That's the only company I've ever worked for that did that. But you don't talk to a manager. It's like, and it's weird because the phone line tells you to please stay on the line once you like do the little automated thing to call out from work, because they'll be like, are you calling in to be late? Are you calling in like absent? Like, what are you doing? And then like once you do, they put in like your store number or something like that. And then after that, it'll be like, please hold while we try to connect you with your manager. And then they just say, just hang up. We don't want to talk, just hang up. I'm like, so even though the official recording tells me to tell y'all don't want to hear me, okay, fine. So I said, okay. So I called out that day. And so Saturday morning I had to work, but I also had to work at my other restaurant job Saturday night. So I get there, I work my shift, helping the old people bring up their stuff, watching people steal because I'm not getting involved. Oh yeah, that's by the way, you're gonna see, like, if you work the self-checkout, you'll see just a lot of people just stealing. Just stealing. I mean, like, just blatantly. But my thing is, like, I only get paid like $14 an hour, and then the training they tell you not to confront these people. They like, if you can help it, just like go up there and just try to make yourself known, or like try to tell, oh, did you miss this or something like that? Because odds are, if you just kind of like pretend to scan something, the machine will like lock up and it'll like get my attention. But if they just like say like forget all of that and just throw it in a bag, like, I'm just gonna look at you. I don't get paid enough for that. I'm already mad at Walmart anyway. But I do have a little funny story though. This one lady, you may see this too if you ever work self-checkout. This one lady like got all these linens. She had like a stack of linens, like stacks and stacks of, like she had a lot of stuff. But it was all like linens, but the expensive stuff. I mean like these nice towels, these like sheets and stuff. It was like that kind of stuff. But they were all ringing up $1. We can see what you're ringing up, by the way. We can see they have like little Palm Pilots, and there's also like a screen that we have that we can see everything that's like on the register, like on every register that if we want to. So I'm looking and I'm like, $1 cookie, but it was coming up as a cookie cutter. So she's ringing in these towels. They're coming in as $1 in cookie cutters. So obviously this lady went to the seasonal section, bought some $1 like cookie cutters and put them over the barcode. So me and the other girls working, because there's normally 2 people working the self-checkout if it's busy. So we just politely go up to her and we're like, hey, you're gonna put this stuff back. You're gonna put all this stuff back. Like, what are you doing? Like, put this back. We ain't doing none of this. Okay? We ain't doing none of this. So like we suspended the thing or whatever. And then like just so happened at that moment in time, they were coming to collect the registers. Like, cause they'll come in and they'll shut down the self-checkout things. And so she just sees these managers walking with like keys and stuff and wheeling this thing. She's like, y'all told the people on me. I'm like, no, but I'm glad you thought so, because she was scared as hell. Like, she was like, y'all told on me. She thought she was going to jail or something. I'm like, we probably should have, but like, no, get the hell out of here. So like, you can do stuff like that, but like, we could not let her walk out all that stuff because it'd been like, what were y'all doing? That was an easy one. But other than that, if you still like, if you just putting just some stuff in the thing, like a normal person, I guess, and not like trying to rip off Walmart, like with that kind of, I mean, that was excessive. It was excessive. Like, she was trying to like, literally like like wipe us out. Like, they're probably not gonna say nothing. They probably see you. So if you think that you're just real good at stealing or something like that at Walmart, you probably aren't. We just don't care. We don't get paid enough to care. Go do you, boo. Leave me alone. Just don't bother me about it. So that's a side note. But anyway, going back to this manager and me trying to figure out my schedule. So I walk up to her again. I'm like, hey, I have to work. I have to get this schedule worked out because the schedule is actually made for like 6 weeks or whatever in advance. And so it is all wrong. And she this time gets an attitude with me. And she's like, you should have had your availability set whenever you applied, and you keep telling me about this stuff. And I'm like, why am I getting upset and why am I getting like anxious about some stuff that she's just like not gonna fix? She's just not gonna fix it. She's literally like letting me know she's not gonna fix it. So I was like, fine. So what I'm gonna do is, well, fuck it. I told y'all what I can do. I told her my availability. I even wrote it down. I was like, this is what I can work. This is what I can't work, and this is what it is because my restaurant job across the street hired me the same day y'all did, and guess what? It didn't take them 2 months to get my background check, right? Like I've been there. I've been working. They've been doing their part to let me like work for them. So I'm not gonna sit here and go back to them and tell them to change my schedule over there, because that's what they want me to do. That's what they wanted me to do. Walmart wanted me to go to my restaurant job, who has done nothing wrong to. They did everything right, and tell them to work around Walmart's schedule. And I wasn't finna do that, only simply because Walmart didn't care about me at all when it came down to it. I had to call and get my own background check. I'm not doing that by principle alone. I told her no, basically. So like, she was pissed. And so what happened was I went to Walmart whenever I could go to Walmart when I wasn't scheduled like across the street, and I just said whatever happens happens. I did my job when I was there, you know, and if I was already scheduled at the restaurant and they had me like scheduled, I just didn't go. I just didn't fucking go. And so one day I'm just doing my thing on a register, because sometimes you will get pulled and put like on an actual register, like a lane. And this guy walks up to me that I haven't seen before. I ain't been there that long. And he's just smiling. He's like, hi, can I see you in the back real quick? I'm like, sure. I'm like, what do you want with me? He seemed too happy for me to be in trouble. So I get all the way back to there, and he's like, he's making small talk with me, just chatting about nothing, just small talk and laughing and giggling and stuff. He's like, okay, so we're gonna terminate you with a smile on your face, bitch. You gonna terminate me with a smile on my face? A smile on your face? He was too joyful. I'm like, he was too excited to be fired. I was confused. I was like, my reaction was to literally chuckle. He's like, so we're gonna terminate you. I chuckled because I was like, well, this isn't the vibe. Like, this was not the vibe. So I'm like, he's kidding. I'm like, what do you mean? He's like, no, I'm firing you because like you missed this many days, you had this many points. And I'm like, so I told him the situation. He was like, well, you can reapply again after like 6 months or some shit like that. I'm like, yeah, sure, I'll get right on that, absolutely. And so I literally was like, it blew my mind that these people fired me and I did nothing wrong. That I had to call to get myself a background check for myself for this job, and they couldn't even put my availability in right. And before you ask, because you're gonna be like, well, when you went to orientation finally after you got hired and already had the restaurant job at Landry's, did you not tell the HR people that your availability changed? And I said, yes, I did. Actually, when I was in orientation before I even started training, I told the lady what was up. I was like, look, I told the lady whose job it was to call HR to get my background check. I told her that because of you, basically, I need you to change my availability. I know y'all got a rule where like, you know, you can't change availability. The things are made already, yada, yada, yada. Bullshit. I need you to change this because it was not my fault. It was your fault, actually, and I need you to fix this. Of course, I didn't say it like that, but you get the gist. And she said, of course, absolutely. I'll give it to your supervisor, and they'll go ahead and do that because the supervisor does make the schedules, not the HR lady. So she's like, I will pass this along to your supervisor, and they'll take care of it. No worries. You're right. Absolutely. I'm sorry. And they failed me. Walmart failed me. Everyone failed me. But I mean, really, it was Walmart. It's really the worst job ever. It really sucks. It's a soulless place where, like, the longer you stay there, like, you start to see like little, not even little or subtle. It's like they're obviously and blatantly like telling you that they don't care anything about you as a person. You're just a number to them. All they care about is their wads and wads and wads and wads of cash. They do not care. The discount is, I think it was 10%. Was our discount 10% or 15%? It was something like, why even give us a discount? I don't feel like a discount. But on Christmas, we got a bigger discount, like during the holiday season. And by the way, the discount is only on non-perishable items, so you can't go grocery shopping and get your Walmart discount. You can get your discount for like, I don't know, if you bought like a TV or something like that, or like an appliance, or like, I don't know, a phone or something. That may be worth it, because it takes off like maybe 10 or 15% off of, I think it's 10%. It takes off 10% of that, and it's but it's like, it's not, it's, you don't even notice. It's like the taxes. It was really dumb. Like sometimes, most of the time, I even swipe my discount card because it didn't do anything. Like for the most part, it take off like $1. You have like a bunch of stuff. So it's like, it's not. If you want to, if you ask me, like, is Walmart worth even going as an option if you really need a job? Yes and no. I say yes if you are just desperate like me. If you're in a situation where you would have to, you would call to like to get your own background check and work everything out to get there and go through the stress like I went through. I would never put myself through that again. But is it worth it? No, it's not a good place to work. It's not a great place to work. It's not a great place to work. It's not a great place to work. This is the environment. The managers in my department, like in electronics back in the day, they were really just icky. Like they didn't care. It's like they wanted you to, basically, Walmart always wants you to put them first, but they will never put you first if you need anything. And the managers are the worst part. I don't think the coworkers, like my coworkers are always cool. Like I like the people that I worked around, the other cashiers, the other people in the electronic, but it was always my supervisors that sucked. Even the one back then at when I was working in like 2010, the supervisors suck. They don't get paid that much, but they have a lot of responsibility. I think that's the downfall. It's like this company has so much money, they could literally pay their like supervisors, like the lower level supervisors, a salary and be okay. And they won't. It's like they pay them maybe a couple of dollars more. They pay like just the regular employees, but they have like much more work and it's much more stressful under the promise or like the expectation that they will be promoted into a salary manager. It's like once they get into those like hourly supervisor roles, it's like they're like trying to put on their best foot forward so they can get into like a higher position. But they put so much on these people, and then some people get promoted that don't need to be in a leadership position. Like they ain't never had a leader, like they've never done anything like that, and they don't have the skills, and they treat their employees or the people under them like complete shit. Like that lady who would not change my schedule, and she was like an hourly supervisor. All she had to do was change my schedule, but it just stressed her out so much, and she didn't know what to do. I'm like, you know what? She got me fired, like because of something stupid. She failed me, but it's like I really feel like you should definitely think about it. I can't tell you what to do because my experience is going to be my experience. I'm sure there are people who've worked there for 20, 30 years. I don't know how. And I'm sure they're doing great, but it couldn't be me. Okay. So if you had to ask me, what do I think about Walmart? Walmart is a piece of shit. I will never work there again. I don't care. I don't care I don't care who asks me. I don't like Walmart. I mean, of course, because I live in America, it's like I'm going to shop there because there's a Walmart everywhere, and it is cheaper than like a lot of places. And that's the thing though. It's like but most people who go there hate it. Like we all shop there and hate it. It's such a weird thing because they treat people like ass. They don't care about anything but money, and they don't do anything good with it. They don't take care of their employees with it. Like what do they do with that money? I don't know, but they're not. I don't know. Sound off in the comments. Let me know if you are thinking about working at Walmart, if you've ever worked at Walmart, do you have any horror stories? This was mine. This was just supposed to be like really answering the question for anybody who may be on Google or something, like asking, what is it like to work for Walmart? And so like, I will be able to give you this. But because this is the first video on the channel, by the way. I told you I have another YouTube channel. This is the first video on this channel. And I was like, what can I talk about? I want this to be more like me centered and like, more just like storytelling or something. I'm like, well, why don't I start talking about like what it's like to work at different jobs. Walmart was the first one that came to mind. I worked at several different places. It's funny that this is the first one I talk about, but yeah. I wouldn't send my worst enemy there. I would rather just, I really wouldn't. I didn't have a good experience there, but maybe you would. Maybe you would. And things are always changing at Walmart. Like even since then, now even like the they've changed their structure again. Like I don't think the Walmarts that I've seen recently don't have like just their own separate just like checkout lanes. They're all integrated with the self checkout, so it's a little different. They have like scan and go where you don't even have to bring your stuff in. They also have like the delivery thing. So it's like my experience may be very, very different from yours. They're always updating, they're always changing because they have enough money too. So I guess maybe that's what they do with their money. But I still wouldn't recommend it. I really, really wouldn't. Go work. Try working at Target. I'm sure they treat their employees much better. Just saying. Bye for now.